been audited by Deloitte and were approved by the Board of Directors in May. They've been distributed to all our members ahead of this evening's meeting, and they are published on our website, www.epilepsy.ie, along with a summary of how our funds are raised and expended. The financial statements are prepared in accordance with the Statement of Recommended Practice for Charities, known as SORP, and FRS 102, the best practice accounting standard in financial reporting for charities. Overall, the charity reported a small surplus of just over €7,000 in 2019. This was a very satisfactory outcome, considering that deficits had been recorded in 4 of the previous 6 years, some quite significant. While 2019 was a solid, balanced year financially, the fact remains that over the past 5 years combined, the organisation has spent almost €300,000 more than we have received in income. In total income in 2019 was €1.74 million. This was a drop from €2.05 million the previous year, when 2 large one-off donations were received, resulting in a surplus of €137,000 for 2018. The most important source of income remains the HSE service level agreements. Our 7 agreements totaled €750,000, similar to the previous year, and there was an additional €14,000 received in HSE National Lottery grants. Our HSE Section 39 funding is restricted for the provision of our support and information services. Overall, it has remained static for many years and is in fact 12% lower than it was a decade ago, due to a series of annual cuts imposed during the last recession. Over that time, our work has developed, demand has grown, and of course, costs have also increased. For many years, the cost of providing the HSE contracted services has been far greater than the funding received. Alongside other Section 39 organisations and representative groups, we are working to have this issue addressed by the HSE and the government. And in 2019, our CEO, Peter Murphy, and Community Resource Officer, Niamh Jones, presented our role and funding challenges to the Oireachtas Committee on Health. Some small steps have been taken since then to address issues facing Section 39 funded organisations, although the current COVID-19 crisis means that no imminent action is expected. In 2019, there was a funding shortfall of $91,000 on our HSE agreements, compared to $150,000 the previous year. This improvement was achieved by successfully sourcing new grant income through the Scheme to Support National Organisations, SSNO, and the Sláintecare Integration Fund, as well as by ensuring tight cost control. Total non-grant income for 2019 was $798,000, which was in line with expectations. This positive outcome enabled us to meet the HSE funding deficit of $91,000 from the current year's unrestricted income. Non-grant income includes a range of fundraising events and campaigns, donations and membership income. It also includes income from our training programme in epilepsy awareness and the administration of Buccal and Midazolam, which continues to grow annually and has now become a vital source of funds to support our work. Training income was $179,000 in 2019 compared to $150,000 in 2018. Total expenditure in 2019 was $1.73 million, which is a decrease from $1.91 million in 2018. Under SORP, expenditure is reported in terms of charitable activities and raising funds. These are explained in Notes 9 of the accounts. From 2019, other expenditure is no longer separately reported, but instead costs that have previously been included here, for example, rent, maintenance, office expenses, depreciation, etc., are allocated across different departments according to use. Almost $1.4 million of expenditure relates to charitable activities, which includes all our work in service provision, training and education, research funding, advocacy, and awareness raising. Expenditure in this area in 2019 was 200,000 less than the previous year, mainly due to the completion of the 3-year transition nursing project in May 2019, the completion of a funded research project at RCSI in 2018, a reduced budget for International Epilepsy Day activities, and due to some one-off costs in 2018, such as the redevelopment of our website and our teachers pack. Fundraising costs, which include associated staff costs, increased slightly from 312,000 to 329,000. Epilepsy Ireland employs 27 staff across the organisation, including 17 in service delivery and training, 6 in fundraising and communication, and 4 in administration. Many of our staff are part-time, and in total we employ 22 full-time equivalents. Therefore, a significant element of our overall expenditure is on human resources. In 2019, payroll costs fell slightly, as on average, there was 1 person less employed during the year. There are more details of employees in note 12 of the financial statements, including our disclosure of salaries greater than 60,000. To summarise our expenditure, for every €1 we spent in 2019, 81 cents went to direct charitable objectives, which consists of information and support, 40 cents, training and education, 23 cents, awareness raising, 8 cents, advocacy, 6 cents, and epilepsy research, 4 cents. 19 cents of every euro was invested in fundraising. Our balance sheet is explained in notes 14 to 22 of the statements. The most significant changes include a slight decrease in our cash position by 40,000 and an increase in debtors due to changes in HSE invoicing procedures, and a small increase in fixed assets due to a grant-assisted upgrade of our head office heating system. Our reserves increased in line with the 7,000 surplus to 1.46 million. 67,000 of this are restricted funds held at year-end from HSE and other grants to be used in 2020. During the year, the board agreed to a redesignation of reserves, including replenishing the research funding reserve in order to undertake future research investments, reducing the premises reserve in line with future requirements, and increasing the general reserve to cover future HSE deficits. At the end of 2019, I am pleased to be able to report a strong balance sheet, which is something that our Board and Finance and Audit Committee is committed to in order to ensure the long-term sustainability of the organisation. Given the challenges posed by COVID-19, never has this been more important. As with virtually every other organisation in the country, the pandemic has adversely affected Epilepsy Ireland's operations and created uncertainties about our future income generating capabilities. This is something that we have addressed in a number of sections in our financial statements. In particular, the board recognises our dependence on HSE and other grants in order to deliver our core services. Our ability to raise funds from fundraising activities and training services has also been severely affected this year. Our most recent projection is that fundraising will decline by 50% in 2020. This level of impact will most likely last into 2021 at the earliest. The board is closely monitoring our financial position, projections, and risk, and a number of actions have already been taken to deal with the crisis. Recruitment for vacancies arising in the early part of the year has not taken place. Our management team have voluntarily accepted temporary changes to their terms and conditions. Planned research investments did not go ahead, and all non-essential expenditure has been put on hold. The unavoidable suspension of community-based services and events has also reduced costs, while other service developments in the 2020 plan have also been postponed. We availed of the government's temporary wage subsidy scheme for a small number of eligible staff, and we are awaiting a decision on a critical application to the government's Stability Fund for charities. At present, the board is confident that all these measures will help minimise the financial impact for 2020 and we maintain a reasonable expectation that the organisation has adequate resources to operate for the foreseeable future. As a result, our financial statements continue to be prepared on the going concern basis of accounting. However, the board is aware that difficult decisions may need to be made should the situation worsen or last for an extended period of time. The most important short-term objective is to ensure that our HSE funding remains at least at the same level for 2021. Excuse me for a moment. Apologies. COVID-19 is impacting on individuals all across the country, including our members, donors and volunteers, as we all struggle with the new realities. If you are in a position to do so, please consider supporting Epilepsy Ireland, whether through a small donation or by taking part in ongoing fundraising initiatives like the Members Raffle, the upcoming Rose Week campaign, or by hosting a Facebook fundraiser. I want to thank all our wonderful donors and supporters who have contributed to our work in 2019 and to date in 2020. As you can see from the report this evening, we can only do what we do thanks to your support. All contributions are very much welcomed, and I hope you will agree, put to good use. Finally, I would like to thank sincerely Peter Murphy for his strong leadership during these difficult times, and our finance manager, Andrew O'Dwyer, for his sterling work behind the scenes, and all the other staff of Epilepsy Ireland who are working tirelessly on your behalf. Thank you also to the volunteer members of the Finance Audit and Audit Subcommittee for providing such sound oversight and guidance to Epilepsy Ireland. And finally, a thank you to all my fellow board members for their ongoing support and leadership, especially through this unprecedented year of 2020. I'd now like to present the 2019 financial statements to the AGM and invite any questions that any of our members may